From all corners of the globe to your ears, it's the Midnight Movie Cowboys. Sometimes informative, sometimes controversial, but always unpredictable. It's the Midnight Movie Cowboys podcast with your hosts, Hunter, John, and Stu. And now, on with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Midnight Movie Cowboys. Joining me in the Rocky Mountain High of Colorado, ready to go out and kill bad guys with Paul Kersey, we have Mr. John Gray. Say hello, John.
Hello, everybody.
And joining us from the wild outback of Australia, looking especially dapper today with his silver hair, Mr. Stuart Balk. Say hello, Stu.
Aging gracefully. Hello.
Yeah, gracefully indeed. I actually do think your hair looks quite nice today.
Thank you. Charlie
Um,
Benanti.
Yeah, and you can't see him, but out in the Cecil Hotel, because the connection's bad there, we have Mr. Eric Zaldivar joining us.
Hello.
He's actually in Arkham
Yeah,
Asylum.
he's in
Yes.
Arkham Asylum.
They give me internet access.
Yeah. Before we get started, you want to whip out your junk? Anybody got
Yeah.
anything?
I do.
All right, Stu, why don't you go first?
I'll probably go last because I've actually got a bit because I've been on.
Okay.
I've been on for a couple of weeks.
I just have a few. I don't have much, so I will go first. So I got a couple records here. One that I got here was Porcupine Trees on the Sunday of Life.
Okay.
I like this album a lot.
They don't do much for me. By the way, I heard the new Yes album as well.
I
I've
liked
heard
it,
better.
but
Well,
no,
I've
it's
heard
definitely heard better. But speaking of
yeah.
Yes, Asia 30.
Oh.
It's a picture disc. I normally don't do picture discs, but I went, when else am I going to have an opportunity to own this one? So, snap.
Funny story about picture disc. I was going to buy back in 87, I think it was, the picture disc of Destruction's Release from Agony because it looked awesome. Thought, man, I want to get this, but I'm worried if I play it that the needle's going to start ripping up all the picture. And
Yeah,
so I thought, oh, I'm not going to bother with
looks
it.
too good.
Ended up buying the vinyl, but it ended up being a white vinyl instead. So
I'm not a big fan of white vinyl just because, like a lot of things white, it looks dirty after a little while.
yeah, but it just was. I mean, the guy didn't have any black one.
Yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else, I'll take it. But
Hmm.
so, and the last thing, I saved the best for last. Got this one in from Amazon. These Fists Break Bricks,
Oh, there you go.
co-authored by our Wang Yu episode guest Chris Paggiali. So
I gotta get that.
yeah,
Wang Yu.
this is a MMC
Wang Yu.
endorsement. Definitely pick this one up. I didn't, I knew he wrote this, and I was expecting a book, but this is a book. There's like pictures. You got Count Dante. You got all kinds of this is a feast for the eyes. So yeah, it's not just a bunch of essays.
Pop that in my cart.
Yeah.
It's available. Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth the price. So yeah, that's it for me.
All right, John.
Yeah, nothing for me this week.
Nothing for you this week. Okay.
Yeah,
Eric's
I
got
have
no
to enjoy my
opinion.
stockpile, as Hunter and I have joked, and I've joked with Eric. We kind of overdid the stockpiling during the pandemic,
Yeah.
and I got to take some time and start sorting through stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it was actually no whip out your junk last episode you guys did. I thought, well, they must have nothing, obviously.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and new release wise for movies, there just hasn't been much either, like that I want. There's stuff where I'm like, maybe, but
Boy, bad new movies. I wonder. Do they
we'll get
exist?
there. We'll get there.
All right. Well, I'll jump on. Grab my stuff as usual. It's up right the other side of the room. But all right. First off is continuing the what Weezer album that Stuart by this week. This one, Okay Human.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
it's all right.
a little low. It's strange. It's
It's
no,
it's a lot of strings and stuff. Yeah.
There's no guitars on the album at all.
Yeah.
But it was only a tenner from Amazon, so I collect their albums. Next up is quite a few books this week, actually. These books I got from the NES. So this one is by our friend Paul Talbot. One called Mondo Mandingo.
Oh wow.
I've read it. It's pretty good.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of it. Anthony, just I'll get it to you in the mail. So yeah, I was very happy with that. Thank you, Anthony. I really am very, very happy with that. Now, shifting over to another friend of ours, Mr. Eric Mulder from
Watch this movie. Oh, hey.
Oh.
Wow.
very kindly sent me this T-shirt, and Wolfie as well. I got thank you for that. So I said when I got this stuff in, which was just a couple of weeks ago, but I hadn't recorded since then, I would wear it on the show. He also sent me some other things that I'm very happy about. Haven't seen this one. He did say, check it out. You may or may not like it. American Hustle.
I haven't seen it.
I have not seen it yet. But I will.
It's one of the movies where Christian Bale is fat.
It's a whole
as
genre
opposed
to
the
itself.
mechanic.
Yeah.
Not the mechanic then. He sent me this one because this month, May, he and I are doing a 3-part retrospect about the disco era films of the late 90s, being Boogie Nights, which we've already covered here, Studio 54, and this one I've never seen, but he was kind enough to send me the Criterion Blu-ray,
Yeah.
Last Days of Disco.
I knew it.
Haven't seen it.
I hung out with the director a few years back.
With Stillman. I mean, you mentioned him.
Yeah.
And last, but most definitely not least, I asked Eric if he could get this in for me because the private seller who sells these doesn't ship to Australia. So Eric got it into his place. I paid for it. And get ready for the shitstorm. Lidsville, the complete series on Blu-ray.
Holy hell. You
Yeah.
got it. You scored it.
Yeah, I scored it. Wow. This show's fucked up. I didn't realize how messed up it is. Yeah, it's fun, but yeah. Butch Patrick even admitted in one of the interviews he was off his face, stoned throughout the whole thing.
Garrow is probably very envious. He loves that show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he actually interviewed Butch Patrick, I think, on a cable access show he did in the early 90s. And
Okay.
He was talking to Butch about Lidsville. I guess nobody really asked him about it back then. It was before the internet, so you didn't have all this instant awareness of old cult things. And he was, I think he was pretty enthusiastic. I have to ask Arrow about that next time he's on here.
Before Marilyn Manson made it popular with Dope Hat.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
all about Lidsville. Yeah.
Very much so.
And they took the other fella in there, Charles Nelson Riley. Is that his name?
Yeah, Charles Nelson Riley.
Yeah, he was pretty zonked out as well throughout the whole series. But it's a cool show. It's I really, really liked it a lot. So that's it for me this week. I know there's more coming next week. So
Cool.
yeah. One on the way actually from Amazon shortly, but that'll be next time.
All right. Eric, anything you want to talk about?
I don't think I bought anything.
Yeah.
I was
Fair enough.
finally,
Except the new
I cracked
computer.
open my, well, besides the new computer, but I finally sliced open the plastic on my Zatoichi box set
Okay.
and was enjoying one of those today. One that I had seen and didn't like it the first time, and I liked it this time.
That
One are-
Criterion transfer, right? That Mint transfer.
Well, I mean, I seem to recall when, because last time I saw these things was on Hulu, like 8
Right.
years ago.
Mhm.
And I seem to recall it looking pretty damn good on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Besides the Criterion, even then.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're right. It's the same transfer, so of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, I saw One Armed Swordsman, so
Okay.
very much liked it this time. Not sure what my problem was the first time around.
It's funny when that happens.
I think I saw back to back the mashup ones. I saw Yojimbo, which I didn't like, and then I saw One Armed Swordsman after it. So I think it had something to do with the bad mood the first one put me in.
Right.
Gee, a
could
film
do
that
it.
puts you in a bad mood. I wonder what does that.
Wonder
Yeah.
what does that? I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. I love the Batman. I thought it was really good.
Oh, fucking get out of here.
Oh, so the movie we're talking about today is The Batman 2022, the new best superhero movie of all time, guys. Right? That's what
Within a day of release, it was
Yeah.
crazy. The greatest.
the greatest. You know,
A crowning achievement.
you know, it's a gritty Batman reboots. That's never been done.
Industrial Batman. He should have had a Ministry soundtrack over the top of it through the whole way.
That would have made it better,
The
honestly.
best meme I saw was, I think John posted it, was Dr. Manhattan on some other planet.
It's 2022 and I'm watching it's 1988. I'm in the theater watching a darker, grittier Batman reboot. It's 2008. I'm in the theater watching a darker, grittier Batman reboot. It's 2022.
It's the day after I watched the Batman I fucked off to Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing has changed.
you know, Hunter, I
in-
think you kids call it Kino. I think that's what this was considered within an hour of it being released.
Oh, it's kind of it's funny because I'm realizing, you know, kids weren't around for, you know, they weren't around for Batman Begins, and their memories are so short
right.
that it's like, oh, this is new. And I'm going, this is the same plot as The Dark Knight, but not as good. And
No.
and that's not even a film I'm a huge fan of. But it's the, you know, Batman and Gordon are fighting corruption in Gotham, and then there's an X factor with the Riddler or the Joker or whoever, you know, plug in the villain. And Batman's new at this game. He's not as good, you know.
Less gadgets.
Kind of like Batman Begins. Okay, the thing that pissed me off, okay, I know what they're doing by having Batman, by doing this, and every time I say this makes me mad, people have to explain it to me, which makes me even angrier, because I get it. I think it sucks. When Batman goes to visit the Penguin, he uses the front door. He goes to the front door dressed as a bat and is like, hello, I would like to see the Penguin. And I'm going, this
Really?
isn't cool, guys. Like, it doesn't tell me he's new. It just tells me that he has like a severe mental illness, and not like a cool Batman one. But
Yeah. He's not very vengeance minded to do the front door thing.
yeah, he reminds me of the dudes in The Dark Knight who are pretending to be Batman. You know?
Yeah.
Can we just, I'm going to say it now. Can we please address the elephant in the room with this whole plot? QAnon, man. It's all about the QAnon. That's what the whole thing's about. It's just ridiculous.
The
It is.
Riddler has 400 followers on twitter.com.
That was one of the,
500, Hunter,
that-
500.
that was one of the few things that I liked and also disliked at the same time. What I liked about it was actually a pretty naturalistic way of him getting henchmen,
Yeah.
as opposed to think about whenever a movie focuses on the Joker. Like, the Joker is insane. Like, why would anybody want to put up with? Why would anybody want to put up with him? Why would they want to throw in with that guy? He's nuts. He can't be trusted.
This guy murders people at random and sets half a pile of money on fire.
Hey, you
Sounds
could
good.
stick a pencil in your eye.
Yeah, but yet he has like no shortage of henchmen. It doesn't make any sense to me. But in the case of the Riddler, like, okay, this is like an army of disaffected incels. This makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, that said, what I didn't like about it, outside of the politics of it, is that I don't want the internet to be in the same universe as a Batman movie. I don't want a cell phone to be in the same universe as a Batman movie.
Eric, I felt the same way about Psycho with the Bates Motel series. I said,
Yeah.
don't you dare bring the technology into that franchise, that series. It doesn't belong there.
Right.
But I understand why they've got that, because it's 2022. The internet is everywhere. You can go to the friggin' desert and you can probably get a Wi-Fi signal of some sort. So
Except in LA.
That doesn't bother me.
LA hasn't figured out the internet yet.
No, really.
There's dead spots all over.
As we
the
can
city.
tell by your no video.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But the whole, I mean, the politics shoehorned this thing just shitted me right off. For instance, when you're watching the Joker's video that Batman had unlocked without encryption, it had the comments, "What caliber is that? Rifles are good." I thought, are you serious? I mean, what? Who cares? What's the point of this? When did the Riddler use a rifle? He didn't use one. So what's the point of the comments? What, right-wing extremism again?
Yeah.
And the obvious one, this is probably going to piss some people off watching this. I don't give a fuck. Why do we have to get Catwoman, Selena Kyle, say white privilege in the film? What was the point?
That's putting wokeism in the movie.
Well, I swear to God, that was an hour and 40 in. I said, I actually yelled, I knew it. I knew it. I knew they were going to do it.
And did
I
you
wonder
guys
if it
think?
was meant.
Go ahead.
No, I wonder if it was meant as a criticism of her because she's talking to a guy who benefits from, this supposed white privilege. I don't know. It's hard to tell if.
Oh no. This was written by hack Matt Reeves, whose Twitter was fucking piled with anti-Trump.
Oh, okay. And then well, you know what else was pretty hacky concerning Catwoman? She's able to beat up 300-pound bruisers the whole movie, and then she has trouble with an incel at the end.
Yeah. Well, and you said Matt Reeves. One thing about Matt Reeves is a guy at work told me, he goes, I think I saw the movie. I didn't like it, but I just don't think I got it. And I went, what do you mean? And he goes, I think it might have been supposed to be funny. And I went, I'm going to stop you right there. Matt Reeves does not have a funny bone in his body. If he did, his Planet of the Apes movies would have been better than they were. His Planet of the Apes movies treat that series like it's The Godfather. Okay.
They're terrible.
I mean, they totally missed the sense of humor. And I'll say this. I do not like Tim Burton's Apes movie, but it is a better Apes movie than those because at least it gets that the movies are ridiculous.
He made a better Batman movie too.
Yes, he did.
Two of them, actually.
Well, yeah. Batman Returns is bad, but it's better than this.
And with this film too, I just, it's total Matt Reeves in that it takes itself super seriously. And it acts as it takes itself so seriously. It makes Nolan's films look funny. Like Nolan's films have jokes in them and stuff like that. No, I'm not one of these Marvel kids who's like, I need jokes and everything. But Nolan's films are remembered as being super dark and super serious, but they had a sense of humor. More they look like comedies compared to this.
Made by a better filmmaker for a start.
Yeah. So
that helps.
I know this has been beaten to death, but was anybody even able to watch the movie? It's so dark, I can't see anything.
It really is like, what was it, Eric? You sent me Mark Kermode's review, and he praised it, but everything he said about it made it sound terrible.
Yeah,
it's a bit
yeah. It's a bit like looking at something in the rearview mirror in pitch blackness. Like what?
It's a bit like let me see if I can do my Mark Kermode. It's a bit like watching a car chase in the rearview mirror. No, I can't do it. I can't do his accent. But he's like, he said it was like watching a car chase in the rearview mirror that's smudgy and you can't see anything. But he argues that's good.
Because he's a paid shill. I mean, if ever you had to question it, just look at his Last Jedi review where he praises the opening crawl of the film. Like, what?
It tells you what happened in the last film. Brilliant.
It really set up the movie quite well, I thought.
I felt very informed. Nice.
Oh my
Who else
God.
was bothered to shit with Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne? As
Okay.
Batman, he was okay.
I don't
I
have a
liked
problem
his
with him.
Batman. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I liked it. I didn't
Yeah.
mind his
Yeah,
Batman.
I thought he was
I-
good. As
His
Bruce
Bruce
Wayne, man,
Wayne,
he was just a real life manga character. That's all he was.
His Bruce Wayne couldn't dress himself.
Yeah.
Like Alfred seems like a guy who's there to take care of a slob.
Yeah.
You know, like he just like every time Alfred's in the room. And by the way, my wife, she lasted like 30 minutes into this. And she was like, "It's dumb. Life's too short. I'm out." But when
Yeah.
Andy Serkis showed up, she goes, "English butlers do not have lower class Cockney accents." I'm sorry. Like, that is really stupid.
point. Yeah.
You know, she goes, "They don't,
Yeah.
that's not a thing." Michael Caine can get away with it because he's Michael
And-
Caine. But
And they're clean shaven as well.
yes, like Alfred and
Like I can talk, but
and-
you know,
yeah, well, but you're not a
I'm
butler.
not a butler.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Andy Serkis, he shows up, but every time he's in the room with Bruce Wayne, he seems like a concerned parent. Like, oh, this, but like this, and not in a interesting way. Like, this guy is just a mess. Like his hair's all in his face. And I know people are like, well, they were trying to evoke Kurt Cobain. That's not Batman. Stop it. The Nirvana thing.
Oh,
Why?
That and that's it. Just it's
Is
just
Matt Reeves of a certain age?
Matt Reeves. Let's see. When was Matt Reeves
It would
born?
make sense if he was like in his early 40s or later.
Yeah,
than-
He's
I
in
think
his-
he is.
He's in his mid 50s.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
So a late
Jeez.
bloomer who liked Nirvana.
yeah,
maybe?
basically.
Late 50s. He's a boomer then. Holy shit.
He's
How old is he exactly?
No, he's
Did you-
56. He was born in 66.
So mid. Okay.
yeah.
So Nirvana.
Still a
be
late bloomer. He would have been 24 when Nirvana came out then.
No, more about 26 when they really hit. I guess 27.
It's a weird thing to
He bought
Yeah.
Bleach,
get
man.
into
He
at
was
that
hip.
point.
Yeah.
But Bleach.
Bleach was the life changer for Matt Reeves.
Yeah, he was there for Bleach. We weren't.
If he was a real
Oh,
fan,
we
he
were.
would've-
I just shut out. I was like, I don't care about this band.
well, listen, if he was a real fan, he would have included songs from the Melvins' Gluey Porch Treatments, because we all
Exactly.
know that's what Nirvana
Yeah,
is.
there's some truth bombs right there.
Need
coming
some
from
screaming
Mama.
trees and that shit.
Hey,
So
hey.
did everybody like his Batman?
I didn't love it, but I thought okay. Here's what my problem with his Batman is: I don't like his mouth. He looks like the annoying orange. You know,
Like Donald Trump, man.
yeah, the annoying orange Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Listen, I didn't like this Batman. I thought Michael Keaton was way better.
I thought Val Kilmer was the ultimate Batman.
You know,
These are the people. That's where journalism needs to go. They need to ask the hard questions. So, which is your favorite Batman?
Let's say Adam West.
He might say Adam West. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like this guy's Batman. I also had an issue with his Bruce Wayne because, and then I thought about it. And I'm like, out of all the cinematic Batmans, I guess the only person who's actually changed between being the man and in the costume is Michael Keaton. I guess. It's been a while since I've seen Batman Forever, and I don't think I've ever seen Batman and Robin. But
Lucky you.
Don't.
but he's dour as Batman, and guess what? He's also dour as Bruce Wayne. Shouldn't it be like a Jekyll and Hyde thing where they're totally
Yeah.
different personalities?
well, and Bale, like his Batman, his Bruce Wayne turns on the charm in front of other people. Like he puts on a fake persona. Like he'll have all the girls and he'll act like a drunk and sort of.
That
act
must
like he
be
doesn't
in
know
the
what's going
that must
on.
be in the first movie, because the last two is the only ones I remember. I haven't seen Batman Begins since it was in the theater, and I fell asleep halfway through.
No, he does it in the dark. He does it in the Dark Knight too.
He does it. Okay, I just remember him being just as dour because Maggie Gyllenhaal left me.
He's dour in Rises. He is dour in Rises because he's like
Yeah.
walking around moping and with a cane and stuff like that. But
Well, Bruce Wayne is supposed to be like Don Diego and Zorro. He's supposed to be the last guy you expect to be Batman.
Right.
That's the whole key to that character, because Batman is based on Zorro partially. And he's supposed to be kind of a ninny, but handsome and a womanizer, but incapable of putting on a bat suit and beating people up. And
You know,
and
Adam
doing all
West.
these-
He's
Adam
terrible
West
at
is
sword
like,
fighting.
we're gonna
Yeah.
go quick, Robin. Quick, Dick. We're gonna go to the lake and go fishing. The bass are really biting today, Bruce.
Now, Zolly had an interesting theory. He believes that this Batman script was originally written in the double O's as a backup in case Nolan did not want to do the third film. And you'll notice there's some stuff in there that indicates that might have been the case. You got Catwoman, you got characters that were not introduced in the previous two films, although some scenes were shot for The Dark Knight with Anthony Michael Hall as Eddie Nygma, the TV reporter, and were not used.
Yeah.
So there was some reconsideration there, but he believes this is an old David Goyer backup script that Christian Bale and Gary Oldman agreed to in case Nolan didn't come back. But then they threw it out when Nolan did come back,
You know,
and kind of rewrote it for you know, the Trump era or whatever.
you told me that like a couple weeks ago, and honestly, that tracks. Like, it really does feel like a bunch of reheated old ideas.
Yeah, because you notice in Dark Knight Rises, Bruce Wayne hasn't been seen in a while. He lives in obscurity.
He's a shut-in, like he is.
Yeah, he walks around with a cane, and you know, like he hasn't. The Batman hasn't appeared either. And this, you could see in the script, they kind of set it up where the Batman hasn't been seen in a while, or he's still not trusted, or Bruce Wayne has not made a public appearance in 3 years. There's some similarities.
Yeah.
Does anybody feel like this film seems like a piece of fan fiction written by incels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the TFW no GF crowd have written a superhero film.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they would write themselves as the villain, but yeah.
Yeah. But it does.
Oh
it
no,
does-
they're the seeker of truth. You know,
It's
more
true.
lies.
It's true. The kids at work kept saying, you know, oh, what I like about, I mean, they said a lot of stupid things like, this is the most realistic Batman ever. And I'm like, that's not a boon for the movie, guys.
Yeah, no, it's
And,
not.
And
He's a
they
ridiculous
also,
character.
yeah, and they also said that, like, you know, the Riddler is not, you know, the villain. It's actually the city and the bureaucrats. And I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, great. Who are the real monsters?
I kind of was.
Authority, man.
I was kind of ruined. I was kind of rooting for Riddler up until you
I
know,
was by the end. I was kind of going, and he does win at the end, basically.
Yeah.
You know, that's another thing about this film is Batman, like the Riddler, outwits him and wins. And yeah, he's in prison, but at the end of the day, they didn't solve his case.
Yeah, good point.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
when
was
they
like, what a
catch him,
what a
the Riddler
great-
just gives himself up. He
Yeah.
just like Seven, he just turns himself in, basically. You know, it's not like Batman did great detective work and figured out who he
No.
was. That would have
And-
been
No,
cool.
no.
And here's
He
the,
was
but
at the
here's
coffee
here-
shop.
here's the thing people will tell you, but he's new. That's what's great about it. He's new, and so he sucks. And please, that's not what I don't need to be. We don't need this again. You know, Batman Begins did it, and Batman Begins is boring.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is boring. He's not, he needs to be like, one thing I liked about the Snyder films and the Keaton films is Bruce Wayne is over there, you know, and he gets to be weird and whatever, but they don't go, that we don't need to go into Bruce's trip, you know. The movies that are caught up in Bruce's trip, why is Bruce so sad? Why does he dress up? Why does he do all these things that he does? Why is he so dark and need vengeance all the time? Oh man, like in Batman Begins, something that is so cringe is him like wandering through China to understand criminals.
You gotta
So
understand the
stupid.
criminal mind.
I have to become a criminal to understand criminal.
Do you suspect that the reason that he sucks at his detective work is because the writers don't know how to fabricate an actual mystery? So it's kind of a crutch.
Could
Yes.
be. Yes. But and because I noticed the Riddler's riddles weren't interesting. I was,
No, no, they
there
weren't.
wasn't anything like, okay, in the 60s show, the Riddler's riddles are ridiculous, but it's fun because they always lead in some Rube Goldberg thing in Adam West's mind to have him solve the case. And it's like, who would ever come up with this? But it's
They actually
fun.
call
Run it through the
that,
back
Hunter, they
computer.
call that the Batman solution. Whenever a mystery has an overcomplicated explanation, it's actually called a Batman solution.
Oh,
When he
interesting.
would solve the Riddler's riddles and, but there's a zoo at the end of Gotham City. And in
Yeah.
that zoo, it's also at the end of the Penguin, display.
But his riddles weren't interesting. There was nothing compelling about the mystery to me. Like nothing about it made me go, oh, like I'm invested now. And also there is no reason for Colin Farrell to play the Penguin other than for people to go, hey,
Oh well, it's Colin Farrell.
you see this? Like doing the soy face, like this Colin Farrell. Who'd you think he was?
He's just
I
doing
thought it
a
was
Robert
Al-
De Niro impression. Why didn't they just hire De Niro to do that?
I was like-
Oh boy.
It looks
Make
like
a
he
good
belonged in
point.
Dick Tracy.
Yeah. I mean, it was just and you could have gotten any meatball to play that part,
Mhm.
but you get Colin Farrell so you can shock people. It's a stunt, It's
And why not give him like a gadgety umbrella? At least give this
Oh,
movie a little
God,
flamboyance.
there's nothing
The only
Penguin
thing they
about
did-
him aside from like the suit a little bit, maybe kind of resembles the Burgess Meredith one in one scene,
Yeah.
maybe.
And they
All
call
they
him
had-
The only
Oswald.
thing, the only
Yeah.
thing they did, that was resembling the penguin was when he was tied up and his feet were tied up, he was waddling away like a penguin. That was it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have. That's a good point by John. Is like, okay, I'm not expecting a machine gun inside the umbrella, but like, give me something in this that could work in this world. And I mean, it's not that hard to have a retractable blade come out or something. It's things like that exist.
Yeah.
But anybody notice that it's been exactly 30 years since Batman Returns, and both two villains returned for this one, Catwoman and Penguin.
I didn't
Yep.
think about that.
Yeah. Didn't think about that,
Obviously,
but obviously
It was
so
meant
when
to
did
come out
Selena
years
Kyle,
ago.
when did Selena Kyle become canon as Catwoman? Because it was never mentioned before that. But now all of a sudden it is. It was
Selena
never mentioned in
Kyle
the TV
as
series.
Catwoman. I think Catwoman's always been Selena Kyle.
Even in the TV series?
Well,
Even
there's three
in
of
the
them, right?
comic book back in the 50s, I think. I mean,
Okay.
we can get it confirmed, but it's always been Selena Kyle.
What did they name Eartha Kitt after what's her face left? Because there's three of them, right? Not just two.
Eartha Kitt
and Lee
replaced
Merriweather.
Julie Newmar because Julie Newmar couldn't do the role that season or something. She was on another TV show.
So it was just a swap. It wasn't like a different Catwoman entirely.
No, I don't think so. I mean, there was no
Okay.
serious continuity on that TV show at all.
Mhm.
So, it was basically live action comic book world. I believe in the original Catwoman stories, like I'm guessing they go back to the 40s or 50s, she's a jewel thief. And of course, Frank Miller turned her into some sort of lesbian prostitute. So that's the version they kind of went with here. And I think that's what they've been doing in the comics for the last 30 years. Yay, and they wonder why kids don't read comic books anymore. But,
I think they did that for Rises as well.
Yeah, they did. That was basically the Batman year one Frank Miller reboot of Catwoman, making her like a hooker / lesbian, whatever.
Now that I think about it, it might not have been a good idea to have Catwoman return again in another standalone movie so soon since the last one.
There's other female characters they could use. I mean, Silver St. Cloud, they could have brought back Vicky Vale.
I guess this world couldn't. This world wouldn't be able to hold up something like Poison Ivy. It's a little too science fiction-y.
Yeah, I don't know how you do Poison Ivy. You have to make her a drug dealer or something, I guess.
Yeah.
She sells weed.
But
Like her body's polluted.
Works at a cannabis shop.
Her body's polluted or something.
Yeah.
You know
It's
who
like
we should.
They put themselves in a corner by making everything so realistic. You got to have some fantasy element. Otherwise, why are you watching a movie about a vigilante dressed up as a Batman? He should just dress up like me and shoot people or something,
When are we? We need to get a good Mr. Freeze. That's what we need.
How they gonna make
Arnold
Mr.
wasn't good
Freeze
enough.
work in this world? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how he would.
What about Killer Croc?
He's an
You
ice
know?
cream
I was
man.
about to say Killer Croc or even Ra's al Ghul. You couldn't even do
Killer
him in this
Croc
one.
is a leper or something.
Well, and that's
He
what
just-
like Nolan with Ra's al Ghul, and I did not understand this when I first watched Batman Begins. You know, Ra's al Ghul shows up and he's Ken Watanabe and he gets killed, and I was like, okay, well that's it. But then it's like, aha, Ra's al Ghul's an idea.
Mhm.
That's how he's a
Like Jason Voorhees in Friday.
What about
13th Part
Clayface?
9.
Clayface. No,
He'd
you
be a
know,
great villain for the movies.
dude, you know what we need? We need Solomon Grundy.
That's
the-
Man Bat.
Yes, Man Bat.
I don't want a damn map like a Batmite. Bring in Batmite.
You know who there is. Okay, Selena Kyle is the canon Catwoman.
Yeah.
There's another Catwoman, y'all. Patience Phillips,
Really?
played by Halle Berry
Oh, Jesus.
in the Catwoman movie. It's not Selena Kyle in that thing.
That's back when they made Batman movies they did these spin-off movies not even looking at the comic books. They just took the names and just wrote original stuff about them.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Joker that you get a little glimpse of at the end?
Horrible.
Yeah.
He's just a
Yeah.
deformed freak weirdo. It's not-
They're just doing what's his face again. They're just doing the Dark Knight.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, oh, we're gonna have another guy with a effed up face and he's the Joker.
Yeah, with a
Should
Mexican
have brought
accent.
back
for
Jared
some reason.
Leto with the bling and everything. Suicide
No.
Squad.
It might as well have been what's his face who did that standalone one.
Joaquin
Oh
Phoenix.
yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. I thought they were gonna rope him into this continuity.
I thought so too, because they had in Joker, they had the kind of corrupt Gotham, and
Mhm.
maybe Thomas Wayne wasn't such a saint after all, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. I thought, I was watching it going, are they going to rope in the Joker, the Todd Phillips film? But it doesn't look that way. And I revisited Joker again, and yeah, it doesn't align. at all.
Inserting Joker is such a cowardly move too, because it's like they're
is.
basically telling everybody like we can't make a Batman movie without Joker.
Yeah,
Sorry guys.
Yeah, and it's something to get the internet going, like, ooh, and then there's this deleted scene with Joker. Ooh, he's like, he's gonna be like Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, you know?
Mm.
like they do on every cop show now. Every
Yeah.
cop show has the villain they go visit in prison or the insane asylum, and they get guidance or advice from. Like, why are you paying this cop anything? You just got to go to a friggin' convicted criminal to figure something out, you know?
Yeah.
It's his first year. You got to give him some chance.
Yeah, he's new. He's
It
new,
is.
guys. It's
Gotta have room for
actually
growth.
brilliant. It's actually brilliant. Batman uses the front door because he hasn't figured it out that he can go through the window yet. That never.
That was
occurred
just
to
like
him.
Rambo in Last Blood, where he just goes up to the pimp's door and is like, hey, hand the girl over. And then, of course, they beat his ass.
I think the implication there is that he was on meds, so he was caging in the real Rambo.
Yeah, but he didn't even put on the bandana, so I don't even buy that.
Yeah, no bandana, no Rambo. That's weird.
Yeah,
But Eric, if he was on meds, how did he build that whole underground tunnel?
Don't ask
Man.
those stupid questions. Stop.
John, I'm with John about that. That is a similar situation to the Batman, where Last Blood, clearly some other script Stallone had, and deleted the name of the main character and wrote Rambo.
he was actually playing Marion Cobretti from Cobra. And
Yeah.
they
There
crossed
you
out
go.
Yeah.
Cobretti.
It's really Cobretti last
Because that's how the Marion Cobretti would do. He'd go to the front door.
The front door. Oh, if
You- I'm
he
the
was
killer.
cutting his pizza with scissors, then we
Man,
would
that would have been a giveaway right there. Yeah, have a Domino's pizza.
Like De
Hey.
Blasio.
Yeah.
Do you think Arnold's putting a pizza and eggs and stuff into a blender and then drinking it was a nod not only to Rambo, but a kind of one-up on Cobretti? Why would he care 13 years later?
I don't know, man. End of Days is that's End of Days, right?
That's End of Days. Yeah.
Yeah, where he plays Jericho Kane.
Yeah, the one thing I can say about Jericho Kane is they actually made Arnold look like an everyman, because I don't think he takes off his shirt at any point. He's just wearing black the whole time, leather.
No. If it would only, the only way you could make it more realistic is if you gave him an Austrian name.
They should have done that. They never do,
No.
of course.
No, his name is always like, I am Harry Stamper. I'm an American.
Yeah. And Jericho Kane just belongs in some pulp novel too. That's not anybody's real name. That's ridiculous.
And I think that movie, like, that's the character Dwayne Johnson's actor character is playing in Southland Tales. He's playing Jericho Kane. Like, there was this nod to End of Days. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
He needs a name like Otto Heinrich Bismarck or something.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I always think of Austrian Death Machine when I think of Arnold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about all Arnold's good for culturally these days. And both the frontman for Austrian Death Machine and Arnold are both similarly awful to their wives.
Well, he's good to be he's good to be laughed at and memed. What's that bit? This wasn't memed because I just found it somewhere. Somebody commented under his did you see this? This is the Conan sword. This is our democracy, the spine of our democracy. That video, somebody commented at the bottom, like, oh, please, this guy lives in my residency. He lives in like some gated community up north, and he's constantly naked in the jacuzzi of the community pool. It's like, no, put your junk away. Nobody wants to see that.
It's a democracy. You could have your balls hanging out.
My democracy. Hey, you want to participate in democracy? Get naked in the jacuzzi with me.
Yeah. America is freedom.
It's like I'm back on the movie set harassing the women.
This is the Conan sword.
Hey, John. John and I
tempered.
I love joining Robert E. Howard groups on Facebook, because all they are King Conan movie that will never be made hype groups. You know?
Yes.
It's like, are we here because we love Robert E. Howard? Have any of you ever read Robert E. Howard? Or are you just like Conan movie?
The trilogy must be finished 40 years later.
The King Conan thing will still go on after Arnold's dead because there's always Jason Momoa.
Yeah. Or they'll try to they'll go, no, we can like AI Arnold and do him like like Peter Cushing in Rogue One, you know?
Or Terminator Genesis, the young Arnold.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I want to be Conan again, just as Robert E. Howard wanted it with saggy man boobies.
Arnold is just he is just trying to revive any IP he can, in hopes that his movie career will come back, because everything he's done has just belly flopped.
It's been embarrassing.
He wants to do I'll do another Terminator movie, bro. Like, nobody went to see the last one.
I didn't see it. What was that one called?
King Conan. I didn't
Terminator
see it.
Dark Fate, and then there was also Genesis.
Was it Dark Fate?
Yeah, it was Dark.
Yeah,
Fate.
Arnold has returned twice already.
Yeah.
I like Genesis. I'll go on record and say I really enjoyed Genesis.
Genesis was better than it had any right to be.
The premise seems cool.
Dark Fate, the big selling point was Linda Hamilton was back, but
Sinew Hamilton.
and also John Connors was now a tough Hispanic woman. Running a factory or working in a factory.
Yeah, they kind of pulled didn't they do like a bait and switch with it? I don't remember.
Yeah, they did a total bait and switch. And she's like badass Latina or something.
And we know that if people who love a series love anything, it's killing off the main character you love at the very beginning and then replacing them with someone else,
Exactly. Everybody
like Psycho.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like Psycho, except you're not invested at all in Marion Crane before the movie.
Audiences are totally into that bait and switch. They love it.
They think it's brilliant.
It's as bad as the Halloween sequels with the whole rebooting, like it's in an alternate universe. It's just stop.
Have any of you ever read, I don't know what number it is, Detective Comics something or other, where Batman goes to investigate a murder at what looks like the Bates Motel? It's like the exact copy
No.
of it. I read that as a little
God.
kid on a road trip one time. My friend had it.
I need to find it though.
I remember I looked it up about several months ago, and I found out what the number was. I think I have it somewhere archived. I'll send it to you.
Oh, thanks. I got the audio book as well as Psycho 2.
Oh yeah, I'd like to hear that rather than read it again. Actually,
No, I'll drop it in the old, you know where.
Yeah. Have you read it yet?
No,
Excuse me. Have you heard it?
no, I haven't.
Okay.
Not yet.
I would like to know what you think, because they take some interesting liberties.
Yes. Well, you know how much I scrutinize that series with a fine-tooth comb. So, yes. But anyway, getting back to the Batman, I am still so jarred by that Bruce Wayne. It is by far the worst one I've ever seen. But I want Goth Man. Or Goth Wayne. I want Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he should
Can't
be
even
just
get a
like a
haircut?
drunken. He's young now. He should be like a drunken party goer and stuff. That's what he should be.
And it's also feels like a huge downgrade after I thought Affleck brought a lot of like kind of class and gravitas to Batman and Bruce, especially in the Snyder cut.
Okay.
And so going from, what powers do you have? I'm rich, stuff like that to this guy moping around with eye makeup on, listening to Nirvana. Is just...
He just doesn't seem the sort of guy who'd have that much intelligence to create all these gadgets, and it just doesn't.
No.
It just doesn't. There's like these when you get those two magnets that just don't draw. Two negative. It just doesn't seem.
Well, the Nolan movies, they didn't even try that. They just gave him a cue in the form of Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which made him less interesting, I thought.
I kind of liked Alfred in the Snyder films, where you had Jeremy Irons as like this technician kind of guy who's working with Bruce and
I still haven't seen it.
fussing over tea and wearing his vest, very well dressed Alfred. I like the wardrobe in the Snyder films.
What did we think of Jeffrey Wright as Jim Morgan? Terrible. Yeah.
Oh, he's an exposition. He's an exposition machine. He is just like.
I know, and every scene. I think I saw, what was it? Somebody on Twitter, I think it was Keemstar, said the movie is like is just ASMR cringe.
I was going to say it is ASMR cringe because it is literally 3 hours of that, whereas compared to the Nolan Batmans, it was death metal Batman.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but wasn't there a scene where Batman walks into the crime scene and there's a dead body there, and he asked Gordon, "What happened here?"
Yeah.
And Gordon, Gordon's
Batman,
like, he was murdered. No shit.
An episode of Millennium. He's been here. He hates women.
he what was it?
The killer is psychotic.
But every scene that they had, Gordon and Batman was, what's going on here? I don't know. Did the Riddler leave something? Yeah. They both talk in this same hushed cadence. And they don't look at each other, and they just are staring at something like with their mouths hanging open.
I'm gonna turn away. I want you to punch me in the face.
I gotta tell you, seriously, I have a really good sound system hooked up for stereo sound for my TV. Yeah. I had to turn the sucker up to like levels I've never turned my TV up to hear the dialogue. And then when a damn sound effect happened, it went through my subwoofer and I felt a breeze.
Shook the fucking room. Yeah.
So exactly. I asked my wife and son, did they just feel that breeze from the subwoofer for the flood effect or explosion, whatever the hell it was? Because I couldn't hear a damn thing of the dialogue.
Folks, it is 2022. It's almost 100 years since sound has entered film. When I can't see the movie and I can't hear the movie proper, is it a movie? Did it happen?
Wow.
Is it really a film?
Yeah.
This film is still only beaten by The Fog as the darkest film I've ever seen. And I really like The Fog. But I'll tell you what, if you were to watch this, The Batman on VHS, if it was around, it'd be unplayable.
You
It would
couldn't
be
do it.
absolutely unplayable. I'd say
Yeah.
even probably DVD would struggle with this picture. I don't know.
I thought it was my TV that was the problem. I got a brand new TV like 2 weeks ago, and I put the brightness up, and it didn't help at all.
There should be settings on the new TVs. It should be called normal, dynamic, standard, the Batman. Where it's just
Batman.
the lights thrown up.
Batman.
I
What
thought
about
the
that car
guy-
chase, fam?
What?
What about that
Yeah,
car
exactly
chase, fam?
what.
Everybody
Yeah.
loved it. Everybody loved it, and I saw it.
Boring.
I'm like, oh boy.
Boring.
I got flashbacks to the critics raving the Bourne Supremacy car chase, and I went to the theater, so excited. I believe the actual blurb was the best car chase since the French Connection. I'm like, well, sold. I got to go see
Oh
it.
no, sorry. The best car chase is Death Proof. You mean?
This
They're
was
all hyped about that car
before
chase.
this was before Death Proof, but yeah, no, that's also not
Oh, okay.
like that's also not like Hallmark worthy. But yeah, no, I went, and if there was a car chase, I don't know, I didn't see it.
I didn't see
Bourne
it.
Supremacy, that is.
Oh, right.
But the Batman is it was perfectly fine, I suppose, but yeah, this was told to me by people that have never seen, let alone the let alone 7-Ups or something like that.
And
Seven
the
Ups.
and the car chase is just very un-Batman to me.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
like Batman's like having trouble with traffic.
How many innocent people did Batman kill?
Quite
in
a
that car
lot.
chase,
Yeah.
going down the wrong road and a truck blows up and everything. How many?
Oh, but he's new,
Five.
John. Don't you
I
understand?
got to give him room for mistakes, right? You know?
He's new. That's why it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's year one. We've never seen this before in a Batman movie. Year one, Frank Miller. Have you read Dark Knight Returns?
I was thinking that I think the first Batman stuff I read was like 70s Batman and 80s, a little bit of 80s Batman, but I was thinking that scene with the was it the DA had the bomb on his neck and the message and all that. I'm like, well, if this was like the Batman of my youth, he'd figure out a way to defuse that bomb and save the DA's life,
Yeah.
and he'd be a hero. Here, he's useless. It's like you could have just had anybody doing that scene, any detective or Gordon or any of them.
Well, and I was going, we've seen this scene before. It was in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
and people
He's
will
not
die.
smart enough to just pull out like a bat bomb deactivator and hit a screwdriver in there and outsmart the Riddler. That would have been cool. Like,
Or maybe he
hero.
could
That's
whip
the
something
wrong
from
thing.
his utility belt and like scramble the signal or something.
That's what I loved about Batman when I was a kid. It was like he'd get in these bad situations and it was like James Bond with gadgets. He'd pull something out just right for the occasion out of his utility belt. I thought the utility belt was so cool. Like when I was a little kid, they sold those toy utility
Oh yeah,
belts
I had a toy
with the
utility
weapons
belt.
and everything and the
Oh,
tools.
Here's the little bat grappling hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the
They were
only
doing
it
that
wasn't-
in the New Adventures of Batman in the 60s cartoons, the late 60s, that
Mhm.
sort of stuff.
the only really exciting scene wasn't really exciting at all. But for this movie it was, and it was when he's escaping, I think it was the prison or something, or jail, the cop shop, excuse me. And he's running, he's running, and he goes up a bunch of flight of stairs with his little grappling hook or something. Like that was exciting just because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, fun was injected into the
Yeah.
movie for a second.
That's where it came alive, was during some of the action scenes. I thought some of that was really well done, where they actually had him using gadgets, especially with the army of incels at the end.
Yeah.
He was doing some cool stuff, I thought.
I tell you what I didn't like, his flying, that flying scene where he
Yes.
jumps off of the building. He looks terrible in those close-ups. That looked very bad.
He looked like Woody Allen in Sleeper when he has that
Yeah.
blow up.
Yeah, yeah.
But you guys mentioned the incels, and someone of y'all said the movie feels like it was written by incels.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you, there is a moment that really made me go, oh, because I was thinking, yeah, I remember there was a moment in the film where I was going, I'm getting like big incel vibes from the film. And that's when, okay, Batman gets like big mad at Selena Kyle when he sees the way Carmine Falcone looks at her. And he's like, "We all in a relationship?" It's really upset. And he's in the middle of this investigation. Like, Batman would never do that. It'd be like, I don't care that he's new. Okay. I understand he's new. It sucks. But the thing
A
is,
rookie mistake, Hunter. It's a young Batman.
and he's getting all worked up. He's getting all worked up at her because, oh, she might have a past with this Italian man. You know,
this Batman is not MGTOW like all the other Batman.
Yeah, I was watching it going, really? He's doing this? This is what we're doing?
You got to give him time.
Work might have screwed this gangster. Imagine that.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe she's not a paragon of morals. You know, just the most moral person in Gotham. You know, she's just a saint.
You know who? You know, you're talking about incels. You know who I really liked to have seen in this film? It makes no sense, but who's that guy in that TFW documentary? The one with the beard.
Cantbot?
Who?
Cantbot? Cantbot would be a good Batman villain.
He could have been the Riddler.
Yeah,
it was Cantbot.
Cantbot would have been a much better Riddler than Paul Dano, I must say.
Paul Dano is a damn good actor, so I'm not going to knock him for that.
No, he is a good actor.
Damn good, but
he was very good in was it Love and Mercy? That was a good movie.
Paul Dano was also Mr. Whispers, along with Batman and Gordon.
They all are.
Yeah,
the whole film is like that.
Yeah,
Nobody's loud.
Like, there's a few scenes where John Turturro gives a performance, but even him in some of the other scenes, he's whispering at everybody.
And the problem is, this is wasted with good actors. You got John Turturro, Paul Dano, Andy Serkis, Jeffrey Wright's a good actor as well. But man, they're just all wasted in this film.
And even Catwoman, like, I don't feel like she needed to be there. You know,
she didn't.
Total waste.
Let's shoehorn Lenny's daughter into the film, man, because you know we like Lenny Kravitz. I like Lenny Kravitz as well, but I'm not putting his daughter in a film.
No,
I
didn't think she had any. She didn't have much screen presence. She didn't have much charisma, and everybody's like, "Oh, she's so much better than Anne Hathaway." I'm like,
nah.
No.
She looks more like Lenny than Lisa. That's the problem.
They have
kind of strong facial features and stuff.
That character has returned to the cinema twice since the Michelle Pfeiffer one, but
three times.
Which one was the third? Time?
Halle Berry and
Oh, but that's okay, fine.
I don't know anybody who's seen the Halle Berry one.
I've never seen it in my life. Yeah.
I saw it on TV. It was atrocious.
What I was going to say was Michelle Pfeiffer has sort of been kind of the iconic one.
Yeah,
it really is.
And
she got an Oscar nomination, I think.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah, I think she did.
See, for me, mine is either Julie Newmar or Eartha Kitt. To me, they're the real. Even Lee Merriweather, from the film, was really good. But honestly, Eartha Kitt or Julie Newmar, interchange both. They're both the best Catwoman. And I like Michelle Pfeiffer as well. But she's sort of this, prudish secretary who all of a sudden has all these, skills and knowledge of, like, no thanks.
She's like a weird undead person, isn't she?
Yeah, she's like a ghost.
Oh, the Burton Batman Returns is one of those films that I don't think the story makes a lot of sense, but I don't care because I just love the vibe and
because it's so freaking loud.
Yeah,
there's not much story in either of those two movies. It's it's really like a flat line of a plot, both of them. The second one's got a little inkling of stuff, but I like both those movies.
But I like them. I like them for the characters and
the atmosphere, the setting.
The style is there.
The Danny Elfman music.
Lord forbid it feels like a comic book movie. Yeah, it feels like a comic book movie.
Yes, it does. Honestly. Like a live action comic book.
And the best thing about that first Batman, or it's not the best thing, the worst thing, it's all Robert Wall all the way through the freaking movie. Why? It's not called Wall, man.
I gotta say, I don't hate that decision because I like that Bruce Wayne is just a weird eccentric billionaire in the background.
Yeah, but I hated Robert Wool in that movie.
Yeah. No,
And
but I don't mind the decision to not make Bruce the main character. Like I think that was fine. But yes, I understand. New Bomb Turk is annoying. Yes.
I mentioned on the Batman on Batman, Michael Keaton one when we did it, I saw a cut. I'm telling you now, I was 18 when I saw this thing. At the drive-in, at the end, who was the character that Robert Wall played? Was it Knox?
Ali Knox.
Alexander Knox, yeah. Where they, after the so-called demise of the Joker at the end, they have the press conference on the steps, and whoever's giving the press conference says, by the way, Alexander Knox is not the Batman. I've never seen it since. I'm telling you now, I saw it. I don't know what's happened.
Believe it. Because in the script, supposedly in the original Sam Hamm script, they had a scene where Knox was, they thought they'd caught the Batman and it was, Knox had the hood on his face like Batman slapped it on, and they didn't film it. It was in the Mad Magazine parody that came out a week before the movie because they had that thing so orchestrated, But
what was the name of that screenwriter?
Sam Hamm.
Sam Hamm.
Are you sure you're mispronouncing it? It's not Salwin?
Glenn Danzig's going to come in and tell us how to really say it.
But they were rewriting that movie was being rewritten by two different screenwriters. Were going through Sam Hamm's work. I think British screenwriter, or no, Warren Scarron and Charles something who wrote Brazil were going over that script and throwing things out. They made Joker the killer of Bruce Wayne's parents. Sam Hamm's original script had the Joker sort of the alternate of Bruce Wayne. He was the same age and was supposed to be like his equal, but the dark side, which they kind of did with the Riddler in this movie. I noticed they made the Riddler like he was an orphan, but he grew up poor with rats chewing his fingers or whatever. And, he didn't have the support system that Bruce Wayne had, so he became the Riddler. But he's clearly the same age, and he's like a doppelganger, I guess would be the
even
thing.
though he's like,
so
he
basically
looks like the Zodiac.
So what they're saying is, if you grow up with money, you're the good guy, but if you're poor, you're the bad.
I think that's what Sam Hamm's dumb script did for the first film, and then they tried to do that theme again, but since they burned out the Joker, they used the Riddler as the doppelganger. So it's like, you're like, okay, in the Dark Knight when the Joker's like, you and me, we're the same or whatever, you get that stupid pretentious stuff. It's that thing they've been working off of since the first Batman movie. And it's funny because if you read the comics or anything before that, the Joker's like he's like Moriarty. He's not like Hannibal Lecter or a doppelganger. It's like, but after Silence of the Lambs and that first Tim Burton movie, there's always been the Joker is his main nemesis, and and there's an implication they're really the same. They're two sides of the same coin.
Like
whatever.
Lex Luthor.
Well, it's kind of a way of saying, like justice is whoever has the money.
Yeah.
Like Batman's all real is who's the real villain here.
Yeah, don't you love sociology lectures from rich kids?
The real villain is capitalism. That's what it is.
Good, John. Yes, I that's something I love is
Joker's a Bernie bro. Wasn't those themes in the Dark Knight Returns and all that?
Some of that, but it's clearly the protest movement is being used to take advantage of people and trick them into basically nuking themselves.
What was that? That was all about Wall Street, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I think they were filming it when those Occupy Wall Street protests were going on.
Yeah, because that was 2011 and Rises came out in 2012.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I think our friend Ezra Dula said he believed that Dark Knight Rises was basically saying that it just shows that protest movements fail in the end, or left-wing protest movements don't work.
Well, and that they're always kind of proxy warriors for another
right
agenda.
And Nolan is rumored to be, he and his brother are rumored to be conservatives, or at least National Review conservatives or neocons. So
yeah, and that tracks because their Batman films are pretty like kind of center right films.
The Dark Knight is like pro NSA,
Yeah.
Another
person listens to every conversation in the city.
Yeah, I remember it was like it felt like a defense of the Patriot Act or something.
Yeah,
which is
another person I
disgusting.
found out who votes conservative didn't ever knew this was Michael Caine.
Oh yeah.
Michael Caine.
Yeah,
knew.
yeah.
I pull the lever for the conservatives because I am Harry Brown.
Well, he told an
That's very-
Onion interviewer that socialism was a load of shit. So,
Did he do the Johnny Rotten speech? Labour had promised so much and delivered so little in the 70s.
well, like Michael Caine was pals with John Wayne and I think some other conservative actors, so it's not too surprising.
He has some crazy story the first time he met Wayne. Wayne, he was at I think the Beverly Hills Hotel, and Wayne landed in a helicopter and greeted him. I don't know how true that story is, but
Probably true.
you could look it up and find it. Michael Caine, John Wayne, first time we met.
Yeah, he wrote a couple of books about his Hollywood stories or whatever collection of stories.
Yeah, I've read What's It All About, the first one. Good book, really enjoyable. Really liked it. Haven't read the second one though.
Not a lot of people know that. This is the second book, right? That's the title.
Yes, I think it is.
Not a lot of people know this.
Is this the book where they're like, Michael Caine, did you see Jaws the Revenge? No, but I saw the house it bought me.
Yeah. No, I saw Jaws of Revenge at the theaters, and oh boy,
Ooh,
not
yeah, that was
good.
bad.
Not good. Better than this shit though. That's for damn sure.
I don't know about that. Jaws of Revenge is pretty goddamn.
Nah, man, it's better. than
Especially
this
for the
fucking shit.
80s when it was actually a good movie market to go see
Yeah.
movies. That was pretty bad. Now I don't expect anything to be good. Everything sucks. So, you know.
Any film where Mario Van Peebles gets bitten in half, yet still manages to swim to shore at the end of the film, it's all right with me.
He's done
Yes.
his obnoxious Jamaican accent, which isn't authentic at all.
Oh boy, yeah, yeah. But I don't know, man. There's not much more I can say about this film.
Yeah, I think
3 fucking hours. 3 hours.
oh my gosh, when I fired it
outta
up,
here.
I had to watch this in like 3 or 4 sittings.
Mm.
Because I just couldn't take it all in one go.
I watched 50 minutes last night, and it was literally like visual melatonin, and it put me to sleep. Watched the other 2 hours this morning. I thought, oh god, I'll admit that middle section was pretty decent, but man, the first hour, the last 40 minutes are just trash. It didn't do nothing for me at all.
Yeah.
Just
I-
done.
This like just after I restore the Snyderverse. That's what I say.
It's not happening.
Nah.
I'm sorry, guys. That's become the new King Conan. Their Snyderverse ain't coming back. Like everybody's clinging to that. It's not happening.
No,
This is-
well, I think Affleck is pretty much said he's done. And
he doesn't handle work stress real well. I don't know if you noticed that, but
No.
he goes to the rehab after doing like 2 or 3 big movies.
yeah,
It's like a cycle, and he gets back together with some girlfriend.
Next film for Affleck, Jersey Girl 2. It's
And-
coming.
Yeah,
You watch.
more likely.
and Ezra
Hmm.
Miller can't stop like attacking strangers in public.
He's like beating up women all the
Yeah, I
time.
know.
So you think he's Sean Penn? What the hell?
I mean, but yeah, no, Snyder's going on to do like Rebel Moon and stuff like that. So
So
Yeah,
who's killed
Snyder's
more?
done. He's washing his hands of it.
Who's killed more innocent people? The Batman of this movie or Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Clintons. The
Yeah.
Clintons. Without about. Yeah.
Batman's got some serious competition there.
oh man.
Well, did you notice some of the funniest unintentional laughs in this film?
Hey, wait, quite John, just take a moment for all the dislikes happening now after mentioning the Clintons, all right?
Right.
There's about 20 there. All right.
No.
Okay.
People are already disliking it because they think that this is a upload of the Batman.
Right.
It's not going to be 3 hours
We
long.
should
so
we
that's
should
on them.
stretch this out to 2 hours and 56 minutes.
Let's see if I can do some Riddler type stuff here. Where's my
Yeah,
glasses?
get right up there.
Hey, sins of the father, Gotham. But
And
but no, like there's a scene where Bruce goes home after being the Batman, and he takes his shirt off, and from the back it's a double for Robert Pattinson with a real muscular back. and it's clearly not his back, except he's wearing like a Robert Pattinson wig, and it looks like that gag in Naked Gun 3 where Leslie Nielsen showing what the dominatrix did to him, and there's this muscular back with whip marks. It looks just like it. And there's a scene that Lores was pointing out in his when he and Hans reviewed it, where like Batman's having trouble pushing a table across the room. So it's this guy who goes around beating up crooks, but he's shoving this table. And my wife was like, "Well, it is like a stone top table, so maybe it's a little heavy."
It's also his first year. Come on, you got to give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Batman has never moved furniture before.
Yeah, he didn't do push-ups that morning.
This film should have been called not Batman Begins, but Batman Beginner.
Batman Beginner. You too can be the Batman. It's supposed to. You know what? This movie is like Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ, which is a movie that makes Jesus look so weak. It makes you're like it's pretty much designed to make people feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm better than that guy.
Jason Momoa was around to play Jesus, Hunter.
Yeah, I mean,
already had to cast Willem Dafoe.
But like this movie, it's like, the Batman kind of sucks. I think I can do that. I think
I'm wuss. Like,
I'm
who needs
better
him?
than him. This movie is just as blasphemous.
So this will inspire like fat cosplay kids to now dress as Batman, because I can be Batman too.
Yeah, exactly. They're
Batman.
like it inspires you to be like the shotgun toting hockey pad guys in Dark Knight.
People still liked it somehow. I don't know. Just the bar is so low for movies.
It is now.
And it's funny. It's funny. You see people making fun of Marvel fans because the thing Marvel fans say is that, I just didn't think it was very funny. But it's not that. I mean, I like I like my cape movies that take themselves super seriously, but this one is just bad. It's got that, it's going for that David Fincher 7 type aesthetic. It's
it was Seven, basically. It follows the same plot line, really.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, though. I think this might have been a better movie if they'd edited about an hour out of it and tightened up the pacing. The pacing drags so much, you notice things wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I think had they cut it into a tighter, shorter movie, I think we wouldn't pay as much attention to the flaws, and I think it would have been more entertaining.
Just wait.
I would bump it up
for the home video. It'll be 45 minutes longer, I bet you, on home video, a half hour longer.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Where do you think this ranks in all the Batman, the theatrical films? And
I was going to ask actually when we got towards the end, ranking the Batman films.
Well, let's go ahead and do that because we're kind of running out of gas on the movie.
Let's include for the hell of it the 66 one too.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Eric.
Oh man, I'm going first.
You asked it.
Yeah, I know.
Your mouth is.
I'll tell you what. How can we do this more simply? Because how many are there? 66, 89, Returns, Forever. So far, that's 4.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin. So that's 5.
Begins,
the Nolan 3. That's 8. And then this one, right? So that's 9. I'm not counting the Snyder films. Those are not standalone Batman movies.
Just sole Batman films.
Yeah. So that's 9 films. Okay. I haven't seen Batman and Robin, so I can't really rank it. So at the moment, this one is at the bottom of the list. No, I'll rank it higher than Begins. Begins is really boring. So from worst to best, Begins, this one, Dark Knight, Forever, then Dark Knight, and then probably Rises, and then I'm left with the 66 one and the 2 Burtons. I'll go 66. I'll go the Batman 89, and then I'll go Batman Returns.
All right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's an opinion. There's no right or wrong answers. So
that's
all right.
mine.
All right. Well, I will go next, and I will say this is at the absolute freaking bottom.
Yeah.
Watching at the start, I thought, wow, this looks like Blade Runner. We're going for that Blade Runner look again.
Yeah.
The industrial cities and
Mhm.
but okay, whatever, it's just a look. And I've got to admit the subway bit at the start, I really enjoyed that. I thought we're on a good track here, but once it got so politicized, I thought
Yeah, it turns
No.
you. It's a big turn off when
it's
you
a
get-
turn off. Exactly. It's a huge turn off. But if they had got rid of the politics, tightened it up as John said, it could have actually been a really half decent Batman film. Awful looking Bruce Wayne aside, Robert Pattinson as Batman is actually, I really like him a lot. I think he's great. Not the best, but I think he's right up there. He's better than Val Kilmer. So anyway, this Batman and Robin above it, as bad as it is, at least it has a sense of fun to it. It's got a fun factor.
Yeah.
The comedy's not great. Uma Thurman's awful. Arnold's awful, but it just has that fun.
Clooney's great though.
Yeah, I think about it. It might be on the bottom. I don't know, man. Shit.
Clooney's really good though, isn't he?
Yeah,
No.
Clooney's great. Sitting in a
No.
corner in his turtleneck, going, Alfred's sick.
And his Batman credit card.
Like this
Oh,
all the time.
Alfred
No.
Sick.
shit. I might actually. Oh boy.
Alfred's really sick.
I'm gonna put the Batman and Robin just a bee's dick above it.
The Batman credit card. You flash that out.
No, yeah. Don't make me change my opinion again, John. Forever.
What about Lego Batman? Do we include that?
So we're gonna go. Yeah, the Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, the Dark Knights. I'm not sorry. No, sorry. Batman Begins. I mean, Batman Returns. What else am I missing? Dark Knight Rises. Batman 66. Is that all of them?
I think so.
Yeah. So what did I say? I said
66 is the top. The Batman
66 is
is
top.
at the bottom.
yeah. Let's make sure I got all the others in there. I think I did. Yeah.
What about it played the theaters? I saw it in the theater. Mask of the Phantasm. Where does that fit?
Hey, right up there.
That's one
Right
that
up
people
there.
often cite as the greatest.
Yeah, it's high. It's high on my list. I wouldn't say it's the top, but
It's better written. The animation's not great, but it's
Yeah.
better written than a lot of the movies.
I noticed that. I thought the animation was worse because I saw it recently again, and I thought it was worse than the TV show.
The animation doesn't hold up very well.
Yeah.
It was meant to be a straight to video release, and I think they just put it in theaters for the hell of it.
All right. Am I going next?
Yeah.
There you go, Eric.
There it is. Soundtrack. Saw it in the theater. As I recall, it was empty. I think my mom and I were the only ones in there. 1993. That was a long time ago.
Good movie.
Or 94,
movie.
perhaps.
Yeah, I was there with my girlfriend and my little brother in empty theater.
Yeah.
Completely.
You took your brother.
My little brother to see
Your
Master
date?
Phantasm. He was 10 at the
Yeah,
time.
on a
That
date.
makes sense. Yeah, you were in your late teens, I guess.
Yeah, I was 20, 21, something like that.
21. Yeah.
Whatever year it came out.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to see the Keaton ones, but I guess
Yeah,
my
me
mom
neither.
felt bad, so she let me go to the cartoon.
So, I'm going to rate the Batman at the bottom of the heap. I don't see myself ever going back to it. I thought it was very difficult to sit through.
It's too much of a time commitment, too.
Yeah, and there's just there was really nothing in the movie where I went, oh, I really liked that part, or that really excited me, or blah blah blah.
Is this longer than the longest Nolan one?
Oh
Whatever
yeah.
that is. It is.
Yeah. I think that was 240.
Yeah, this is 3 hours almost on the
It's
dot.
3 hours almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right above that, I would have Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is dreadful. but it did do some innovative things with special effects and
It's toyetic.
It's toyetic.
It's terrific, Hunter. How could you dislike it?
Yeah.
man?
And
Hunter, did low fidelity possess you for the last 10 seconds?
whoa, is that what he says?
Oh, he loves it.
Oh, but no, I don't like it. I'm just saying there were some innovative things John Dykstra did with special effects in it, like
when the cars go over a naked man statue.
Yes. No, the scenes where Batman is falling through the city, like dude, that had never been done before.
In front of the naked man statue,
Yeah.
or was
Gotham is nothing but naked man statue.
I wanted to actually, when I saw that opening night, I actually kept walking towards the door. Should I just leave this theater? Right now?
You should feel thankful it wasn't a naked boy.
Yeah,
It was Corey Haim's
Yeah, I was
statue.
gonna say it's Corey Haim.
Well, Schumacher didn't want to put all of his little, taste out there. He wanted.
No, the only reason
immortalize Corey Haim forever.
Give him a chance, John. It was early on in his career. You got to give him a chance.
Yeah, that's right. But the only reason I was saying something nice about Batman and Robin was to explain why it's above the Batman.
Alfred's sick.
Alfred's.
I don't even know what that. I haven't seen that movie, but that sounds hilarious.
Eric, you gotta see it.
You gotta see it, man.
Yeah,
Alfred's sick.
Is it delivered so deadpan like that?
He apparently filmed the movie on weekends away from ER.
Yes, he did.
He was filming ER, and then on weekends he would fly to the set for.
Oh my god, that must have taken forever.
Yeah, and so they have him in like a turtleneck, and he's just in a quarter. Alfred's sick.
So there's a lot of body double stuff when he's in the suit.
Tons of it. Supposedly, all of the Mr. Freeze stuff was Schwarzenegger's body double, except for the close-ups of his face.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of martial artists from a Saturday morning show called WMAC Masters, I think was the name, and they did all the fight doubling for the actors, and they're just doing these Power Rangers style fight scenes, and it's a movie with no feeling or vibe whatsoever. It was like Ice Capades or some shit.
So above Batman and Robin, I would put Batman Begins. Batman Begins was just, it's all about Bruce Wayne's trip, and I hate that.
You didn't like the Scarecrow?
No, the Scarecrow, another villain that needs to be done right.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those movies that it's not, the story isn't very well told. It's confusing. Like the Ra's al Ghul stuff is just it doesn't make sense when you first watch it. It's like, wait, what? Why is there a different? It's not well explained. Above that, I put Batman Forever.
Batman Forever is getting a real pass on this show today. I tell you, it is
Not
bad.
for me. Not for
Which
me.
is the best Riddler? Who's the best Riddler? Jim Carrey or Paul Dano? Out of the two.
Frank Gorshin.
No, but out of the two, you got to pick out of the two.
Oh,
It's a
Jim
binary
Carrey, I'd
choice.
take.
If you can't handle it, don't respond. As Michael.
I would go for Paul Dano in this movie. I hated Jim Carrey's performance. In the film.
Here's the thing about Batman Forever is it's the first one I saw in the theater when I was a kid, so it has a little bit of that sentimental value. But no, it's not a good movie. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is freaking atrocious in that film. Just climbing, swinging from the rafters. He just sees everybody else at 10 and he's going to 11.
He's trying to compete with Jim.
Yeah, he is.
And there's no difference between either of those characters.
No,
they hated each other on the set.
That's why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot facilitate your. What does he say? It's a bizarre way. Do you remember this story? Where Jim's at some fancy restaurant and he's there to meet Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones comes in all grumpy, which what other way is Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
He sits down.
He's
and
a
says,
huge jerk.
Yeah, I cannot facilitate your foolishness.
I
something
cannot
like
facilitate your foolishness.
I will say with Forever, Alicia Silverstone looked.
She was in Batman and Robin still.
Yeah, wrong one.
Yeah.
Who was in? Hang on.
You're thinking
There's
of
no girl. There's no girl in Batman and Robin except no Batgirl.
No, it's Nicole Kidman.
I'm not Batman and Robin Forever.
And Nicole Kidman.
No?
Nicole Kidman's in the film.
Nicole Kidman is what? Not Vicky Vale. What is she?
Meridian Chase, is that it?
Let's go back to Vicky Vale. That's a stupid name. Meridian Chase. That's no good.
So above Batman Forever, I would put Dark Knight. And above that, I would put Dark Knight Rises. That's my favorite of the Nolan ones. And then we have, gosh, I'm going to say you could switch any of these three out depending on my mood, but I'll say Batman Returns, Batman 66, and Batman, but those three could all get shuffled around.
Right, but that's all very well and good, but Mask of the Phantasm is at your top.
Yes.
Top of the list.
Yes. That and Lego Batman.
Lego Batman.
What about Batman Under the Hood?
Yeah.
Well, no, that didn't get a theatrical, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, didn't it?
How many sequels technically did Phantasm get? And they were all direct to video, at least in the United States. I can't speak for Australia. There was The Return of Joker, which I think was a Batman Beyond thing. There was the Mr. Freeze one, Sub-Zero. What else?
Batman Year One, you including that? You talking about?
Well, I'm talking about the 90s ones. I think there was just two. It was Sub-Zero and Return of Joker, right?
I'm looking on
I think it was those two.
Yeah.
They were all done in that style and by that animation team. So I think those are only real two sequels to.
Did you say Sub-Zero was good, John?
I thought it was better than Mask of Phantasm.
Interesting.
When I rented it on VHS in '98.
I need to look at that box set that's out here now of all the Batman animated films.
I wonder if HBO Max has it.
It might. Could be
I watched a little bit of a more recent one. The animation's not that great, but I watched the first 10 minutes and I was enjoying it because it was a Bond movie. Batman and the Katana or something, some ninja thing, where they do a 70s retro.
Is it Soul of the Dragon or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that was all right. I watched it. It was okay.
Who's the villain in that? Because that's all that matters with Batman.
I know that it had all their kung fu characters from the 70s in it, like Lady Shiva and what's his name? Like the White Panther, but he's actually black, or White Jaguar. I forget the character Michael J. White voices. And then there's
Craven the
Richard Dragon, voiced by Mark Dacascos, and he looks like Bruce Lee. But in the old 70s comics, he had blonde hair, so he was like DC's Iron Fist.
Hey, John, do you change of pace? Do you reckon that Spider-Man was influenced by Zorro because Spider-Man is very quippy, and Zorro was messed around with his foes?
Oh yeah, definitely, because it was a big show on TV just a few years before. It may have still been running when they were writing and drawing Spider-Man, starting it out. So yeah, I could definitely see that. Zorro inspired a lot of heroes back then with the quips and the kind of swashbuckling attitude.
I have to rewatch the. I never saw the sequel, but I have to rewatch that first. The one in '98, whatever, Mask of Zorro.
Mask of Zorro.
That was fun
with Tony Banderas. No, I really liked it in the theater, but I have to rewatch it. I don't remember him being Mr. Jokes while in the mask.
No, he wasn't, and maybe it's because Banderas isn't really great with the English. I don't know.
Yeah, English is not his forte. Yeah. You can
I
barely understand.
Hopkins was more quippy in the beginning as the old Zorro about to retire. So.
Yeah. Man, Antonio Banderas in Desperado, you cannot understand what he says.
We had a joke, I think, at the Laserdisc store about his dialogue in that movie, and you couldn't understand anything he was saying, and the way he'd wave his hands around when he was talking to Salma Hayek, you know.
I was going to say the whole thing was I had Salma Hayek there as the visual piece to distract you from the fact you can't understand Banderas. So
yeah, he's like, "Hey, say about shit," and then something like that. And he crosses.
Everyone's going, "You notice that guy couldn't speak English for shit, huh?" What? No, I didn't notice.
Then notice you have this hot half Iranian, half Hispanic girl there, you know.
Boy, was she all the rage when that film came out.
Oh yeah.
Every guy at work just fucking going on about. I mean, I was one of them, but
she was hot. She was something else.
She still looks good.
Yeah, she does.
John, rank your Batman movies.
Let's see. Bottom, the two Schumachers, pretty easy. I hated them. I couldn't stand them. I knew something was wrong with that series. They could quit making Batman movies when they made those. Because
Well, hold on. You saw Batman and Robin with your girlfriend and your little brother.
No, I saw Mask of Phantasm with my girlfriend.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I took Mask of Phantasm. I took my girlfriend at the time and my brother who was 10.
Right.
And so, and I remember we saw the Ace Ventura trailer before that was due out, I think, in a few months.
And you said, that's going to be a bomb.
No, I was like, that's going to be a hit. I knew that was going to be a smash.
Why don't you like Batman and Robin? Done. It's a good movie.
I often wonder what the crew was thinking of when they were shooting Ace Ventura in Miami. Like, I bet you, like, the blue collar guys were, chain smoking and thinking, God, I can't stand this guy prancing around.
Yeah. but yeah, I would say the two Schumachers. I really don't like Batman Begins anymore, thanks to Hunter re-reviewing it a few months ago on Letterboxd and pointing out all the problems. I'm like, why did I ever sit through that film?
Same here. Time? I was shocked when I went back how much I disliked it.
It's atrocious. I would say I don't like Dark Knight either. I never did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were bashing that movie way back when. Like, you were never on the train with that.
Well, I went to see it with my wife, and I remember we couldn't get in for several weeks. Like, every screening was selling out. We could not get in to see that movie. Well, it must be really good. Everybody's loving it. So we finally saw it, like, I think the third week of release, and about 2 hours in, we were all right with it. And then that third hour is like, is this ever going to end? How much more? Like, in a theater, these things are painful when they're really long. Like, and especially if they're throwing the twist. You thought the movie was over? No, you got another 45 minutes here.
Oh, and then Two-Face shows up, and it's like, oh God.
Yeah. I was like, why didn't you save this for another movie? Or have like a cliffhanger ending and have the Joker blow up something, walking away, blowing up something, and then Two-Face turns over in the hospital and says, Harvey Dent turns over and says they used to call me Two-Face, and then that would be your perfect setup for a sequel or something.
That was all the rage to do that too at the time, having the false endings. I think it was a two-hit punch,
which I hated too.
Yeah, so. Exactly. It was a two-hit punch. It was Return of the King. They both came out the same year, I believe, 2003. Return of the King and the first Pirates movie, which I like, but it's got like two or three false endings.
Mm-hmm. Return of the King. I was just sitting there going, "Come on!" Stop it with these endings.
One thing about The Dark Knight, the scene that I really hate in that movie, is when you have the two tankers that the Joker wants them to blow each other up. It's such moralizing trash.
It's garbage. It's written by pseudo intellectuals. That's the problem.
It's just this thing where, like, where the movie's stopping and going, here's the message, guys. It's what you're supposed to take away from it.
Tiny Lister makes the wise choice.
Yes. I'm gonna do
Tiny Lister
done a long time ago.
And so then I would say the Batman, because it's problematic. There's a lot of issues. Some things are okay. I think there's a better movie. You cut an hour out of the damn thing. I bet a fan edit would play a lot better. I really do. I think this needs a fan edit. And boy, that sound recording and the dialogue, boy, put on your subtitles. Put your closed captions on right away. Then I would say
throw the damn audio in through Levelator.
Yeah.
Just fix it that way.
You got to get one of those 80s equalizers they used to sell for home stereos. And totally amp it up. Then I would say Dark Knight Rises, which I enjoyed quite a bit. A surprise because it's completely nuts and bonkers, and they just kind of said to hell with it. They just went crazy with it, and I strangely enjoyed it. And that was one I expected to hate because I didn't like the Dark Knight.
Yeah, I remember you were surprised how much you liked it.
And a friend of mine called me after seeing it, and he was just like, "I think it's the best of the three." I was like, "Really?" And then because it was getting bad reviews, probably I don't think the shooting that happened here in Colorado helped, but it was getting some bad reviews. And then I went to see it. I was like, hell, I'm actually enjoying this. It's like a Bond movie directed by Jodorowsky or something. It's completely bonkers. It doesn't. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make any damn sense, but I don't even care because it's so ridiculous. Like Nolan was just burning Warner Brothers money for fun.
Who's a better Bane? Who's a better Bane? Tom Hardy or the guy that played Bane in Batman and Robin? Was it
The
Jeep
guy died of
Swinson.
steroids or whatever.
Jeep Swinson. I knew his
Yeah.
personal trainer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
drug dealer was that?
Stick the needle into the underside of the bicep. Not the
Yeah.
upper.
Yeah, no, he goes, yep, he liked those drugs and steroids too much.
Like my man John Romano says, "Show me the bodies." Deep Swinson. Oh,
Show me
he was
the body.
depressed. No. I would say then probably Mask of Phantasm,
Lego
Batman, the first Burton Batman, then probably Batman Returns, and then Batman 66, which is something
Well,
I could
we're
go back
including-
to and watch with a lot more of a clear mind and clean mind than these other ones that, let's face it, like something I had discussed with Eric the other day, and Eric is right. Dark Knight should have been an R. That's like a soft R film.
It really
I
is.
still
Soft R,
could
yeah.
watch that.
I remember watching that and thinking they're really getting away with a lot in these PG-13.
They were pushing it.
I fully
Pushing it
expected
very
this
hard.
one. I fully expected this one to push harder, because that's what I was grabbing from the trailers and from people were telling me. And I saw that stupid deleted scene with the Joker, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna somehow be worse than, more violent than Dark Knight Rises. Excuse me, the
Dark Knight.
what is it? Just the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And no, not at all. Dark Knight is still the one where it's just like, geez, how did they get away with this?
Is this the first Batman film with a curse?
It had a
F-bomb in it?
lot of them, but it's
Somebody, oh yeah, there's an F-bomb early on in the film, isn't it?
yeah, there was too much profanity for what I had a problem with that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I hate the Frank Miller does that in his comics.
Frank Miller really hurt the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of our listeners are gonna hate me for saying that, but he really damaged that character because I said
agree.
it before when I watched that year one animated movie. I was like, if the problem with Gotham City is you got corrupt cops and Batman fighting muggers, you don't need Batman.
Mm.
Batman is there to fight crazy people, killer clowns,
You
and
need-
men
you
who
need
think
a
they're penguins.
politician.
And, yeah, Poison Ivy, whatever, super villains. He's not there to end corruption. You just need a better police force.
Yeah.
Or how about this, citizens? Move the hell out of Gotham. Go to the burbs. It's probably a lot
Did it
safer.
Move
Did
to
anybody
Metropolis.
Did
Yeah.
anybody notice early on in the movie, they say that even though we're shown in a montage that criminals are terrified of the bat, on the news, I think they say that crime has gone up since the Batman has appeared.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of problems with this film. Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
Like Batman creates the criminals. That almost sounds like a leftover from the
Yeah.
what might be a Goyer script.
When
Like,
you make a 3-hour movie
Mhm.
on something as foundationally rocky as this, there's going to be a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Crime has gone up because Trump is Batman. He's creating the criminals.
yeah, exactly.
There's so many.
Listen,
Such-
I like heroes who win. He doesn't win here.
He's a loser. Didn't Zolly send a personal message to Matt Reeves? Say better luck next time, loser.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All right. So what do we rate this thing? Eric, we'll start with you.
I'll give it a 4.5.
Stu,
3.
John.
Give it like a 5. Oh, and I like the ending where he's saving people from the flood. That was nice.
That was
Yeah, I
awesome.
like that.
That was the only heroic.
Well, he's
real-
doing heroic stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he should have been doing that for 3 hours. Then you would really admire it.
You shouldn't have to wait 2 hours and 40 minutes to see.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. You gotta watch his eye shadow or whatever the hell, like melt on his face, like he's Kurt Cobain or something.
You got to give him a chance. It's his first year.
I gotta give him room.
I give it a 2.
He learned to be a hero at the end, Hunter.
Ooh.
That's good. That's good.
Damn,
but-
that's the first time you've given something lower than me in years.
Yeah, I just the fact that it wasted so much of my time makes me extra bitter towards it. But yes, no, you're right. But by the time we get to Batman pulling people out of the river, it's like I'm checked out. It's the problem.
It had alienated you for 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But
Until the end credits. Yeah.
Anyway, well, yeah. Anything to add before we put a fork in the Batman?
Put a fork in this series. I'm just done with Batman.
Yeah,
I don't think I need to see another one.
they're gonna make another one with Robert Pattinson. They've already announced.
What? Honestly, just real quick, what was the thinking behind the choice for Mr. Twilight Sparkles? What were they thinking?
They wanted somebody for the young kids to get into, and the young kids were already, because what I had heard before they made this was John Hamm was lobbying hard for the role, and he's like 50, and he wanted to play Batman,
and they did an older Bruce with Affleck,
right, and so he was like, "Oh, I'll take the role, I'll take over for Ben," and but they decided they wanted to go in the direction of younger Batman so they could get another 15 years out of hopefully one actor. I guess they're thinking corporate. And Pattinson is a star to a younger generation, certainly not us, because I've never seen those more
even now movies. 20 years ago, maybe 10, 15 years
ago. You know how they think, though. I mean, Michael Keaton had been a minor comedy star for like 8 years before he played Batman, so that's
I thought
that sort of thinking.
I thought he was an interesting choice, and I thought he was a good Batman.
But you've got to be a good Bruce Wayne to be a good Batman as well.
The thing
he
about
wasn't a good Bruce Wayne. That's true.
No.
The thing about Pattinson too is there's also some crossover with the kids because
he was in Harry Potter.
What?
He was in Harry Potter.
Oh,
Pattinson
really?
Was?
Yeah, he played a character in Harry Potter. I mean, I didn't see the one he was in, but my wife and kid, they watched all those movies and they were pointing out he was a character in Harry Potter.
But he has some crossover with like the sort of Kino art house crowd because of his work with the Safdie brothers on Good Time and
Lighthouse
with Robert Eggers. So like they see it as a win-win. Like, the serious Kino files like him and the girls like him. So it's like, he seems like a good crossover choice.
I'll tell you what, he's a good actor. I saw that movie. The only reason I went to go see it because Franco Nero has a small bit part in it. The Jungle movie, Lost City of Z.
Oh, I hated that movie.
No, it's really boring. But he's really good in it because when I got to the end credits and it said Robert Pattinson as such and such character, I was like, what?
He's unrecognizable in it. He has this big beard. At first, when he showed up, I knew he was in it, but I went, "Who's that?" And then after a little while, I was like, "Oh wait, it's Robert Pattinson."
I seriously think any issues you have with his performance, you could probably throw on Matt Reeves.
Oh, 100%.
Not an actor's director.
No, he didn't.
He's hopeless.
He didn't. I don't. That was that. There were very deliberate choices made to make him slobby, disheveled, gross looking. That was all on purpose.
Yeah.
That was just Matt Reeves.
You know who it should have been as Batman? Clive Owen, man. Got to be Clive Owen.
Old Batman. He's playing Bill Clinton now.
Is he?
He is on the 3rd season of American Crime. They're covering the Monica Lewinsky Clinton stuff. Yeah, and he plays Clinton.
Wow.
So he also looks like a Dick Tracy villain as Clinton, actually.
Well, he's not going to play.
They gave it the same makeup man as they gave Colin Farrell for the Penguin.
I think so.
Bill Clinton looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
He does actually. Good point. Yeah.
Bubba.
The Bubba.
He's got a profile artwork.
Pretty good.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign out and say adios.
Yeah. Peace out.
All righty.
And now, it's time for Rue Britannia with your foreign correspondent, the Nez.
In a move that will surprise nobody other than those who purchased Joe Biden's nappies, there was panic on the streets of Birmingham this week as campaigning for council elections in May took a Will Smith turn as Labour canvassers out on the doorstep ended up getting involved in a mass brawl with would-be voters. Duck and weave, son. Duck and weave. Things effectively became even more peculiar as the Labour council in question up for election in the constituency of Ward Rock openly stood by urging party canvassers to use headshots. Still, they weren't using knives, so that's the important thing. But a bother, and Piers Morgan got exposed lying this week yet again in his usual twice-annual shot of being way too clever for his own good. This after being caught selectively editing his interview with President Trump for his latest employer, Talk TV. Morgan, ex-Daily Mirror, ex-CNN, ex-Good Morning Britain, decided to rough up for points by effectively boasting that Trump stormed off during his interview and that the interview was effectively concluded prematurely. The one problem, though, Trump quickly effectively acquired a copy of the full audio transcript, leaving Morgan looking somewhat like a pillock, let alone a liar, which, funnily enough, he actually is of multiple standing. Anyway, I wish Murdoch's Talk TV all the best in securing 0% viewing figures. Another wonderful gift to leave as a legacy to the world, apart from a pair of tits on page 3. Planet Weird. And the woke CRGT BBC went full Tonto again this week when the Rainbow Warriors announced plans for a transgender Doctor Who spin-off. Isn't that type of thing a capital offence on Gallifrey? Anyway, the each way, either way, alphabetic spaghetti novelist hired by the BBC to oversee the spin-off, her trans name is Juna but his Earth name is Larry, boasted that the spin-off, Doctor Who Redacted, that it was quote-unquote important that every person comes to Doctor Who brings their own particular identity, said Juno, or maybe Larry the Cable Guy. And of course, as a transgender woman myself, it was important to get rid of the actual women from the show and see the central character as a transgender psycho-cocky in exactly the same way. He, she, it stated. Remember the days when the TARDIS used to be a time machine, as opposed to the rainbow-coloured gay theme hub you pass on the way to work every morning? I guess the Daleks and Davros really are, frankly, firmly on side. Further notes in passing, TV channel GB News suffered a high-speed motorway blur this week when weekday mid-morning honour Pharisee Patrick Christus was accused live of actually having an extramarital affair by one of his guests, the guest in question being his wife. A British woman having told her family that she was going on holiday to Disney World formerly married a convicted murderer on death row in the US. That said, being on death row in the US these days is probably safer than the idea of actually visiting Disney World. And finally, it's a fond farewell to comedy legend Eric Chappell. He passed away this week at the age of 91. Chappell established his reputation with ITV's 70s sitcom classic Rising Damp, penning 28 episodes over 4 seasons. Alone. To quote Neil Simon, nobody ever wins the Nobel Prize for Literature in terms of comedy. Their loss. To sum up the week, tough-talking Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries went against the government's grain by confirming in an interview last week that transgenders don't exist. Hard not to tell that she's positioning herself for a future tilt at the party's leadership. After all, you do need a man for that type of job these days, and since Shirley seems not to have any testicles, she's more in touch with her masculine side than he is. I guess it really does make him somewhat of a